Today, we're diving into the world of Oz with a spotlight on EBS volumes, those nifty storage solutions that play a crucial role in persisting data on your instances. At its core, an EBS, elastic block store, volume is like a network drive that you can attach to your instances while they're running. It provides a means for your instances to persist data, even after they've been terminated. It's like having a reliable storage companion in the cloud. Think of EBS volumes as your instance's long-term memory. They allow your instances to hold on to important data, ensuring it survives even if the instance itself is no longer running. It's a key component for data durability in the AWS environment. Each EBS volume is bound to a specific availability zone. This adds a layer of locality to your storage, aligning with AWS's infrastructure design. It's like having your USB stick stored in a designated drawer. Let's break it down with an analogy. Think of EBS volumes as your network USB stick in the cloud. You can attach it, detach it, and carry it between instances, just like plugging in a USB stick to transfer files. And here's a little bonus for those of you on the AWS free tier. You get 30 GB of free EBS storage per month. This includes general purpose, SSD, or magnetic storage types. It's a fantastic way to explore and experiment without worrying about costs. At its essence, an EBS volume is a network drive, meaning it exists in the cloud rather than being a physical drive attached to your machine. This network-driven storage opens up a world of possibilities for your instances. Since it uses the network to communicate with instances, there might be a bit of latency compared to local storage. This is something to keep in mind when designing your architecture, especially for applications sensitive to response times. Here's the beauty of EBS volumes. They are detachable from one EC2 instance and attachable to another with lightning speed. It's like moving your network USB stick between different computers effortlessly. However, EBS volumes are locked to a specific availability zone. For instance, a volume in US East 1A cannot be directly attached to an instance in US East -1B. This adds a layer of locality to your storage. To move a volume across availability zones, you first need to take a snapshot of it. Think of a snapshot as a frozen moment in time, capturing the state of your volume. Once you have the snapshot, you can easily move it to another AS. EBS volumes come with provisioned capacity, meaning you specify the size in gigabytes and the input-output operations per second, IOPS. This gives you control over the performance characteristics of your storage. Keep in mind that you get billed for all the provisioned capacity, regardless of whether you use the entire volume or not. It's like paying for the entire USB stick's capacity, even if you're only storing a few files on it. On a positive note, you can increase the capacity of your EBS volume over time. As your storage needs grow, you have the flexibility to scale up without major disruptions. At its core, the delete on termination attribute controls the behavior of EBS volumes when an EC2 instance terminates. By default, the attribute is enabled for the root EBS volume. This means that when the instance is terminated, the root volume is automatically deleted. However, it's a different story for any additional EBS volumes you attach. By default, the delete on termination attribute is disabled for these volumes. This means that when the instance terminates, these attached volumes remain intact, giving you the flexibility to preserve data. The beauty of this feature is that you have control. You can modify the delete on termination attribute according to your needs, either through the AWS Management Console or by using the AWS CLI command line interface. Let's talk about a common use case. You might want to preserve the root volume when an instance is terminated, especially if it contains important data or configurations. By disabling the delete on termination attribute for the root volume, you ensure it remains intact even when the instance says goodbye. Preserving data integrity is crucial, and the delete on termination attribute empowers you to make decisions aligned with your storage strategy. Whether it's about retaining configurations, application data, or other critical information, you have the control to manage your EBS volumes effectively.